Kingdom Come Deliverance is one of my favorite games of all time, but I've never really done a pacifist run of it, mostly because killing people in this game is just so much fun. Now, I decided that just a pacifist run was too easy, not worth my time. Instead, I decided to combine this with a no weapons challenge where I'm only allowed to use my fists to fight people. If you have good equipment, you can tank damage on every mistake you make. To make it even harder on myself, I have decided that I will not use any armor in this run either. I will be limited to using civilian clothes, with style over substance. Though our Henry is a pacifist, he is somewhat of a vengeful beast. He will not run from fights he can win. He will not let others do the job for him, and he will fight everyone he can. These are the rules of the challenge. No killing, no weapons, no armor, and no metagaming to skip quests. With that out of the way, let's begin. To start off, I picked speech for both starting attributes, as you can grind the rest through combat, and speech and charisma are essential for our run. In the beginning, I didn't quite know what I wanted to do, and I progressively went on to make things harder for myself. In hindsight, I should have probably kicked Kunish's arse myself, but I was playing the game as normal, so I got my friends to help me. I also remembered that you can get lockpicks from Fritz by trying the chest in Kunish's house. It saves you the trouble of buying them from Votava and Tarnberg later. As for Kunish himself, he focuses you over your friend, so I was able to do him some major damage myself. Then I did my training with the Swordmaster, and that's the end of Skalitz. I'll skip ahead now to our second day in Tarnberg. I stole the guard's uniform from this chest the previous night. Now we have to escape the castle. You could use the guard's uniform to leave from the front gate, but I failed that skill check, so I decided to use a more direct approach.
Fuck, that fool from Skalitz has gone and jumped in the moat! Raise the alarm! He's trying to escape!
God, I love that line. Now, to get to Skalitz, we simply avoid all the corpse looters by going around them. We're not much of a fighter yet, and avoiding them is not too difficult. As for Zbyszek, well, he's a special one. He deserves a beatdown. Easy enough to do that. In the dream sequence, even though you can kill humans with your fists, I didn't want it to count as a kill against me, so I simply ran to the end. Now we're in Rat Eye.
Your Graces, I have to tell you in all seriousness that this land of ours is in the shit. Deep fucking shit. Don't you agree?
For the training with Bernard, I did it as normal. As for the archery training, and I tried to interrupt the sequence to see if I could avoid it, but first time I've ever seen this screen. Now, the way archery tournaments work, it won't end until everyone has shot all their arrows, and there is no time limit, so I have to shoot them. And well, if I am doing that, I might as well win, right? Now, this is where the challenge really begins. As you see this fight unfold, let me tell you about how this combat works. Your health bar is linked to your stamina bar, and when you get hit while out of stamina, you lose health. This is true for you and your opponents. Now the problem here is that I don't do enough damage to put someone out of stamina. Instead, I have to rely on the AI repeatedly attacking me because I am unarmed and wasting their stamina. As long as I can put some damage in, I can interrupt their stamina regeneration and hopefully leave them vulnerable for a counterattack. I am wearing armor for this fight, but the only difference it makes is that he can't punish my mistakes as much. Now, as I start to do damage, I am incentivized to keep doing damage. I have to go out of stamina to keep throwing punches at him. It leaves me at risk of losing a large portion of my health in one go. Now this pays off for me here, as I am able to take off 3/4 of his health. The rest of this fight is just easy. After this fight, I went and literally sold the clothes off my back, because I didn't need them anymore. I planned on buying some normal, high charisma clothes later, but I didn't have the money for it now. Moving on to the rematch with Sir Hans. That fight was over before it even started. Now we're going hunting with Sir Hans, but we're not really hunting because we're not allowed to. So we'll skip ahead. After he gets kidnapped by humans, I go to where their camp is and drop a cheeky save. I could have just as easily untied him and run away, but we don't like humans, remember? So I snuck up on them, knocked them both out, and took all their stuff. I needed their clothes, as I had none. Theirs is a fate worse than death. They are left naked and afraid to go back to their friends in embarrassment and tell them of the check that stole their clothes. Their time will come too. As a final display of dominance, I ate their food. Now the game really begins, and we must ride to Neuhof. But before that, trip update! But all that next time, where hopefully we kill Runt with our bare hands.